most famous cheese of the island is undoubtedly halloumi. It is a semi-hard cheese which can be consumed in many different ways. Its rubber texture can be eaten raw and cooked, roasted or fried. It can be had in a sandwich or as a Cypriot appetizer or even for breakfast. The white semi-hard cheese, which is a candidate for the product with protected designation of origin, meaning it can now only be sold with the word halloumi if it has the stamp on as official origin made in Cyprus along with the Cyprus flag. To be considered as authentic halloumi, it must also be prepared from a certain amount of goat or sheep milk in villages where it is produced. The official code of the making of halloumi is in a collection containing 5 manuscripts of Cyprus and is kept in the library of the Municipal Museum of Venice, where is the home of the oldest writing reference to halloumi, called Halloumi. As stated, it can be eaten fried, grilled, grated onto pasta, or as it is with a slice of watermelon. It is made by heating a mixture of sheep and or goat's milk in a hazi, which is a cauldron, before adding rennet and turning off the heat. The curds are scooped out, squeezed to extract the whey, wrapped in cheesecloth and pressed under a heavy weight. The cheese is cut into blocks and cooked in the whey again. When it rises to the surface, it is taken out, dipped in sauce and dried mint, folded in half and left to cool before being stored in the whey. Before the final step, the whey is returned to the hazi to make Anari, another cheese similar to ricotta. Fresh milk is added and the mixture is reheated and stirred with a small brush called a thrombi until the crumbly white cheese floats to the surface. Some Anari is salted and dried to be grated over pasta. The best way to eat it though is unsalted with just a drizzle of honey or carob syrup. Natural yogurt, strained or otherwise, is yet another dairy product that is an integral part of the Cyprus diet and one that quickly becomes a firm favourite with all the island's visitors. Another popular cheese in Cyprus is Feta. Feta is a soft cheese kept in whey. Where halloumi and Anari are homemade products, Kefaratori and Feta are often made in small factories, mostly in the village of Dalia and Atheniu. Most shepherds make their own halloumi and Anari. Some traditional items you will see from the making of these cheeses is the cauldron or the large pot to cook the cheese, a long board to put the halloumi on, talaria, a small basket made out of reed especially produced for making of Anari and halloumi, a very large ladle or anokani, which is a cane with a clean thyme bush tied to one end to stir the curdled milk, a very large earthenware jar to keep the halloumi in, salt and dried mint on separate plates to roll the halloumi in when done, and of course you will need plenty of milk and some rennet. The old way of making it was said to be this: you measure the milk so that every 10 okas you keep 1 bottle aside for the making of Anari. The milk is heated in the cauldron until lukewarm, about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. The rennet is then added and is covered and left until the mixture becomes like glass, as the villagers say, meaning until it sets. When it's firm, it's divided into portions by hand and it's squeezed and blended, after which it is squeezed in the pot until the curds separate from the whey and the whey comes to the top. The curd is then put into the talia and squeezed again so that all the whey comes out of it and the curd is solid. The whey, liquid, is then put on the fire and heated. In the meantime, the curd is carefully turned out of the baskets and cut lengthways into 2 portions, and these are generally put into the heated whey. When the whey is almost at boiling point, the portions are taken out with the ladle and put onto the long board. These portions will make the halloumi. After that, the milk that has been kept aside for Anari is poured into the boiling whey and stirred with the ladle or with the Anari until it curdles and floats. As soon as the curd floats, the pot is taken off the fire and left for about 10 minutes to rest. Then it is carefully skimmed with the ladle and the curdled milk is put into the little baskets. The clear whey is again put onto the fire, and the portions for the halloumi that are lying on the board are now carefully put into it again to be boiled. These will be ready when they float, at which stage the pot is taken off the fire again and left to rest for about 5 minutes. Meantime, a plate with salt and one with dried crushed mint are set ready, and each halloumi is rolled first in one and then the other and then folded. They are then stacked in the earthenware jars and the whey is poured over them, so they are now completely submerged in it. Sometimes a little lemon is often squeezed over it and makes it tastier. Or the halloumi can be kept, in which case the longer it is, the harder it will become. Halloumi which is to be kept should remain in the earthenware jars, covered for at least 40 days. During these days the cheese matures and the process through which it goes gives a strange taste. We say halloumi is sick and should not be eaten. However, when the proper time has been allowed and the portions have hardened, then they are used either to be eaten as they are, or grilled, fried and also grated on top of a dish of macaroni, or for the making of ravioli. Anari, the kind of cream cheese, ricotta, can also be eaten quite fresh and unsalted, in which case it is nice with sugar, honey or confiture. If not to be eaten within a day or 2 of making, then the Anari should be preserved by rolling it in salt. It takes quite a time to dry Anari, and it is better, if you're buying it, to get pieces already dried rather than to buy it fresh and wait for the drying process at home. As with hard dry halloumi, Anari is grated and used with macaroni. Unsalted fresh Anari is also used for filling breccia. Do look back at part 1 of this series, which will give you further information on halloumi and some other products that will be featured in this series of videos. So check out the links below, and don't forget, watch the whole series to find so many amazing, unique products of Cyprus.